Quick question. Given the option to choose between being a regressor and reincarnator, which one would you choose? Let me know your answer in the comments below. Anyway, on to the video. The story begins with the MC's inner monologue, predicting the dark, somber, and desperate events to come. He states that life is pain. There's no way to escape it. The only choice is to accept this fate and struggle to survive somehow. Even if we find God and resent him, he won't listen. God is just a bystander. No matter what your life looks like, he won't be interested. You're the only one who can change your fate. It's up to you to struggle until the very end. True to the MC's words, we cut immediately to a desperate battle. The sounds of clashing weapons and pleas for help echo through a gloomy room where rivers of blood and mangled body parts litter the floor. Corpses lie scattered, hacked into pieces. Decapitated heads and missing innards not far from their main bodies, as if attempting to complete a grotesque jigsaw. In this chaotic scene, the MC continues his inner monologue. He observes that, while people live differently, the end of their lives is always similar, desperate and violent. Sometimes, living requires more courage than dying. We switch to a warrior fleeing for her life, her hoarse voice pleading for help. However, she quickly meets her end as her arm is torn ruthlessly from her body. Next, a mage unleashes a lightning strike on an obscured enemy, shouting his reluctance to die in this manner. Like the warrior, he dies instantly, his body cleaved in two. Another male warrior wielding a great hammer has his head split open, brain matter splattering everywhere. And yet another warrior is savagely torn apart, helpless against the foe. Finally, the MC yells at the group not to scatter, warning them that the enemy is targeting the lone stragglers. He calls out to Maytal, urging her to limit the enemy's movement. She responds by casting an ice spell, trapping the enemy's legs in a block of ice. Panting and visibly exhausted, Maytal calls out, urging them to hurry, as she can't hold the spell for long. Two comrades, Stepan and Wade, answer her pleas, immediately charging the enemy. Stepan urges Wade to hurry, but Wade retorts, telling Stepan not to give him orders and to focus on his own task. True to their words, the duo blitz past the enemy, tearing off its arms. The grotesque creature shrieks in agony as green, alien blood spurts from its severed limbs. Seeing the immobilized and injured enemy, the rest of the party charges in. They can't afford to give it time to recover. Watching their reckless move, the MC shouts at them to retreat, warning it isn't the right time to attack. But his warning comes too late. The cornered alien responds immediately, growing numerous tentacles from its severed arms that lash out like lethal whips. In a swift motion, it sends them whipping through the battlefield. The result is catastrophic. The reckless party is shredded to pieces as if run through a grinder. Heads are severed, limbs are slashed, and the battlefield becomes a symphony of carnage, with blood and body parts scattered everywhere. As this bloody spectacle unfolds, the surviving members watch in horror. Wade curses the reckless fighters, calling them fools for charging in. Maytal, shocked silent by the gruesome scene, is at a loss for words. The MC takes the lead, instructing everyone to move back. If they rush in carelessly again, more people will die. He resolves to finish the battle himself. With his trusty sword in hand, he charges forward. Noticing him, the alien focuses its lashing tentacles on him, trying to shred him to pieces. But our MC proves formidable, deflecting the alien's attacks with minimal movements as he charges forward. He estimates the tentacles to be about 20 meters long, posing a problem due to their incredible hardness and speed. Without his sword, he would have been shredded ages ago. Realizing he can't keep deflecting the tentacles, he decides to gamble. Activating his active skill, Heist, he swiftly lunges forward, dodging and parrying the tentacles. Finally escaping the deadly tentacles, the MC lunges at the alien, his sword poised to strike. Panicked by his relentlessness, the alien unleashes its trump card. Its grotesque brain splits open to reveal a hidden eye. The eye powers up, preparing a psychic attack. To the MC and the party members' horror, the attack lands, kicking up a windstorm and a cloud of dust. Maytal calls out the MC's name, her voice laced with worry. But her concern is unnecessary. The MC, Jeong Hyeok, narrowly dodged the attack and now hovers above the alien. Wasting no time, he reappears behind the alien, radiating an intense aura. Activating his skill Julian's sword, he slashes the alien in half. and its anguished screams fill the room. Amidst the spurting green blood and spilling innards, Jeong Hyeok strikes a calm pose, having finally ended the desperate battle. The surviving party members cheer, elated to have survived. An aerial view of the battlefield reveals the extent of the desperation, particularly in the aliens' final attack. A system notification sounds, noting the mission's completion. The goal, kill the fast one, has been accomplished, and rewards will be distributed. Random skills or characteristics are offered as the first reward, and 10 souls are awarded as the second. Deeming his task complete, Jeong Hyeok sheaths his sword and instructs the party to take the souls, heal the wounded, and, most importantly, leave before the alien respawns. As they gaze at the mangled corpses of their former comrades, the party feels solemn. More than half of them have been wiped out, all killed from a distance. Wade remarks on the alien's intelligence. It used ranged attacks to keep the party from getting close. Turning to the MC, he calls him amazing for dealing with such a beast. The MC, ever calm, replies that they don't have time for sadness. They must regroup and move to the next room. But his words are cut short by a sharp pain in his back. Turning around, he is shocked to see a sword stabbed through him. Stepan and Maytal, noticing the sudden change, call out his name, worry in their voices. Unbeknownst to them, more backstabbing bastards are creeping up. The backstabber mocks the MC, thanking him for bringing him this far. Without him, he would never have made it. As he gears up to say more, the MC, furious and brimming with killing intent, clasps his palm over the traitor's face, calling him a traitor and promising to kill him. The traitor panics, stuttering that he was just following orders, and calls to Wade for help. The treacherous Wade acts swiftly, drawing his sword and slicing off Jeong Hyeok's arm, shocking him. The rest of the traitors act as well, stabbing the MC with their swords. Now reduced to a bloody mess, the MC collapses, clutching his bleeding stomach. With a livid expression, he questions the traitorous bastards, asking why they did it. Wade replies that they no longer need him and plan to share his soul and advance independently. Hearing their foolish words, the MC mocks them. How do they expect to survive with such trash skills? They clearly don't understand the danger they're in. Wade tells him not to worry about them. He should focus on himself, as he's about to die. The traitors taunt the MC, telling him he has no friends left. And true to their words, the lifeless bodies of Stepan and Maytal lie on the ground, bloody. Pale and disbelieving, Jeong Hyeok stares at his fallen friends. Wade continues his mockery, saying he couldn't risk leaving loose ends. Although he regretted killing Maytal as women were so hard to come by, he had no choice. He tells the MC not to be too sad. Death is inevitable. A traitor bitch approaches with a mace, taunting the MC. He always wanted to be a baseball player, and now he can live that dream, hinting at the Negan treatment. The MC, ignoring the mockery, is filled with rage. He mutters that he can't let it end this way. He can't accept this outcome. As the mace swings for his head, he suddenly roars in anger, lunging at the traitor. Using only his teeth, he bites a chunk out of the man's neck. Wade panics, yelling at his men to stop the MC before he can use his skills. But the MC is already fighting back. He draws his sword and decapitates one of the traitors. He turns swiftly, chopping off another's head, blood spraying around him. Before the head lands, another traitor stabs him in the back. Ignoring the wound, the MC decapitates this traitor too. One of Wade's main fighters lunges, slicing off Jeong Hyeok's remaining hand. Seeing the MC's weakened state, Wade steps in, determined to finish him. With a swift swing, Wade beheads Jeong Hyeok, sending his head flying. The MC's severed head rolls on the ground before finally coming to a halt. His eyes remain open, his defiance evident. Panting and exhausted, Wade curses the MC for fighting so relentlessly. But it's over now. There's no coming back from a severed head. Observing their fallen comrades, the traitors lament their dwindling numbers, but decide to push forward. In this brutal world, they can only keep fighting. Wade glances at Jeong Hyeok's body, conceding that he might have been the one to end their shared hell. The scene shifts back to the MC's severed head. In his fading consciousness, he curses the traitors, bitter over his unfinished battle. He regrets not avenging Stepan and Maytal. As his life slips away, he laments how close he came to ending it all. But, in a shocking twist, he awakens, his eyes shooting open. Confused and frustrated, He realizes he's still trapped in this endless hell, where even death offers no escape. Lag. Taking a moment to reflect on his disastrous situation, Jeong Hyeok lies motionless on the floor. All around him, the bleak walls mirror his current state. Bleak and listless. Everything is the same, even the cursed word, lag, written ominously in blood on the wall. Suddenly, as if coming to terms with his bleak predicament, he yells. His anguished voice reverberates throughout the tiny room. He curses and yells, repeatedly striking the floor in rage. Those backstabbing motherfuckers. He promises to kill them all. After what feels like an eternity, his rage finally subsides, leaving only his labored breathing. Nothing would change even if he screamed and made a fuss. His saviors, his enemies, he wouldn't get to meet them again. That was the nature of the hell he was in. Turns out this wasn't the first time he'd died. Death wasn't new to him. After multiple repetitions, you'd think he'd be numb to it by now. But you'd be wrong. Far from getting used to it, living in that hellish place only kept getting worse and worse. Gritting his teeth in frustration, he laments having failed again. It's always failure after failure, again and again, like a curse. Welling up with rage, he punches the wall, hoping to vent his frustration. This choice, however, proves foolish, as the pain from his stunt soon follows. Holding his throbbing hand, he notes that he hasn't awakened yet, hence the pain. Gazing around the gloomy and cursed first floor, a space covered in dark blue light, he laments that he hasn't been here in a while. We learn that the first floor is always the same. The only difference is whether he's alone or with others. Walking toward a nearby wall, he feels around its surface, seemingly searching for something. After a bit of rummaging, he finally notices a hidden compartment in the wall. Pressing it opens a secret door on the opposite wall. A doorway to another hell. Cursing the difficulty from the start, he promises to kill whichever psychopath hid that switch on the wall. During his earlier regressions, he was unaware of the secret switch, so he died repeatedly on the first floor, killed by starvation and dehydration. The situation was even worse when other people were around. Not only did they fight and kill each other, but they were also forced to eat each other. He had died countless times, killed by someone else's hand. Before the awakening, he was nothing more than an ordinary Korean man. As such, his failure to secure an exit led to countless deaths in that room, and upon each death, he would be revived again and again, only to die all over again. Staring somberly at the cursed name Lag, Jeong Hyeok comments on loathing it. He doesn't know what it means or stands for, but just like the word lag, he feels like his life is lagging. However, all that is not important. What actually matters is surviving and hopefully getting the hell out of there. He's grown tired of the repeated deaths and doesn't want to do it anymore. Resolving himself, he walks into the light, ready to face his bleak future head-on. What greets him beyond the white radiance is a wide white room, all but empty except for the red structure in the middle. The red structure turns out to be a bizarre combination of cubes, humming ominously in the quiet room. The MC takes a moment to reaffirm his resolve, breathing deeply to calm his nerves. Without further hesitation, he swiftly places his palm on the metallic interface standing before the cube. As the mysterious structure boots up, a system panel appears, identifying him as player Jeong Hyeok. After confirming his identity, it immediately begins the awakening process. With the awakening, intense pain follows, causing our boy to groan in agony. The pain, however, swiftly passes, disappearing as quickly as it arrived. As the system announces the completion of the awakening, he receives multiple messages informing him of the subsequent random allocation of skills. And true to the notifications, he immediately receives the active skills Light and Flame, as well as the passive skills Pant and Bare-Handed Combat. With the task done, the system informs him of the final goal. He is to reach the lowest basement level. Our boy, however, doesn't move, choosing instead to analyze his character screen. He has received the active skills Light Level 1 and Flame Level 1. As for the passive skills, Pant and Bare-Handed Combat are also Level 1. Scrolling further down, he finds more information. His public attributes state that he'll be limited to only 2 active skills. However, as compensation, his private attribute states that he can have an infinite number of passive skills. This revelation greatly shocks Jeong Hyeok, his eyes widening at the news. His shock is warranted, as usually, you'd get around 10 active skills, and the passive skills were always fixed at 2. This had been the case throughout his countless regressions, a fact that never changed. So, what the hell was going on? Although it could be fatal to only have 2 active skills, the idea of having an infinite number of passive skills is truly outrageous. Jeong Hyeok can't help but don a maniacal smile just thinking of the possibilities. His thoughts, however, are interrupted by a system prompt informing him of the random generation of a weapon. Our boy gazes intensely at the swirling blue vortex, hoping to get something good. Through sheer luck, something good actually comes out. A strong mini pickaxe, boosting muscle strength by 1%. As he swings the pickaxe around, the MC laments the absolute garbage he received in some of his previous regressions. Items that only led to his untimely demise. Seriously though, how are you supposed to fight with a pack of condoms? With his business done, he resolutely walks toward the next room. It's a full-fledged start, one he's determined to see through to the end. Emerging through the dimly lit hallway, our boy is faced with 2 choices. Basement level 1, room 1, and basement level 1, room 2. In his past regressions, he'd opted for room 1, but this time, he resolutely chooses room 2, deeming it much better. Walking through the door, he descends a seemingly endless flight of stairs, leading down to the abyss. After what seems like an eternity, he finally reaches flat ground, albeit shrouded in darkness. Utilizing his light skill, he shines a ray of light across the room, confirming his intended destination. Room 2. He's finally here. With a grim look, he resolutely walks through the door, which closes behind him soon after. There's no going back anymore. After entering a room and having the door close behind you, retreat is impossible. The only choices are success or death. A system prompt soon follows, acknowledging his entry into room 2. It further highlights the details of the room. The common mission, although for beginners, is noted as not easy. His goal is to eliminate the monster, a zombie, in the room. The first reward upon completion is a random skill, or a random skill level up. The second reward is random equipment, or the key to basement level 2, room 1. We get a bit of info about room 2. It's a pitch-black space where one can't see an inch ahead. Maintaining absolute silence is paramount to surviving the trial. In addition, sticking close to the wall is also necessary, as it reduces the range of defense as much as possible. As he traverses the ominously dark space, Jeong Hyeok remarks on knowing what lurks in the space very well. With his senses heightened, he listens for any sounds in the dark, searching for his prey. Picking up on some distant clatters, he immediately goes on high alert, waiting for the incoming clash. The sounds turn out to be the clattering teeth of zombies, inching closer to his position, drawn to the scent of his vitality. The MC, picking up on their ambush, immediately activates his light skill, shining a light before him. And as he expected, there they are. The zombies, beings with strong jaws capable of breaking bones with a single bite. Jeong Hyeok remarks on the only upside to these vermin, their slow movements. With his light skill still active, he somberly watches as the zombies inch closer and closer to him. Taking an attacking stance, he eagerly urges them to get closer. The zombies, as if responding to his wish, stagger toward him, their sharp fangs clattering. Our boy, still in his fighting stance, remains completely focused despite the zombies' slow approach. Just as they cross the 5-step mark, the zombies make an unexpected move, swiftly lunging at the MC, their earlier slow movements gone. Jeong Hyeok, having anticipated this, doesn't panic. He swiftly swings his pickaxe, striking a zombie in the head. The blow is strong enough to send the zombie crashing into a nearby wall. With 2 enemies remaining, he immediately resumes his attacking stance. Inwardly, he notes the zombies' weakness, their heads. No matter how many parts you destroy, they keep coming, unrelenting, until their heads are destroyed. In the past, there were many times he was beaten by zombies with only their heads left, eventually dying pathetically. In addition to their semi-invulnerability, their movements are more complex than expected. They move slowly at first, only to suddenly attack at close range, making it very difficult to react if it's your first time. However, our boy isn't a beginner. With his palm raised, he activates his second skill, Flame Level 1. A crimson flame shoots from his palm, engulfing the charging zombies. As he watches the burning zombies, our boy reflects on why he chose the second room. It was due to his pickaxe and flame skill. Zombies are vulnerable to fire, and when their heads are struck, it effectively puts an end to them. Activating his light skill, he continues his search around the room. The room clear notification hasn't sounded yet, meaning there are still some zombies hiding somewhere. Picking up on a clattering sound behind him, Jeong Hyeok immediately turns, only to come face to face with a charging zombie. The infant zombie, thirsty for his blood, lunges at our boy, its sharp fangs just inches from his face. Our MC, not one to hesitate, swiftly swings his pickaxe, killing it instantly. There is no reason to hesitate. The monsters are no longer human. With his task completed, he pulls back his pickaxe, ripping the zombie's head off in the process. Gazing at the grotesque creature, he remarks on never seeing one so tiny before. Was that why he didn't pick up on its movements until it got so close? The system notification sounds again, bringing with it the clear confirmation. It states that the Room 2 mission is over. Jeong Hyeok was the only participant, contributing 100%. As a reward, he is to choose between randomly acquiring a skill or having an existing skill randomly level up. The second reward is random equipment, or the key to B2, Room 1. Not wasting time, Jeong Hyeok immediately makes his choice. Soon the system sounds again, informing him of the successful acquisition of the passive skill Tough Skin Level 1 and the acquisition of the key to B2, Room 1. As he watches the key materialize, he remarks on his luck. If the skill had turned out to be an active one of his original skills would have been lost. So far, he has 3 passive skills. Pant Level 1, which speeds up his recovery rate. Barehanded Combat Level 1, which boosts his barehanded fighting skills. And finally, Tough Skin Level 1, which makes his skin tougher. Holding the key in his hand, he acknowledges his good luck in this regression. Not only is this his first time getting 3 passive skills, but they are also skills he can keep until the very end. Since physical ability is mostly affected by passive skills, and he can have an infinite number of such passive skills, there is definitely potential in this regression. He will keep forging forward, and with his new abilities, he's resolute to do it. He'll definitely conquer this hellish game, or die trying. Armed with the rewards from Room 2, our boy wastes no time challenging his next hell. Before him stands the door to 2 separate rooms. Basement Level 2, Room 1, and Basement Level 2, Room 2. To enter Room 1, he needs a special key, which can only be obtained by clearing B1, Room 2. As for the doorway to B2, Room 2, that's a freebie for everyone, as it doesn't require a key for entry. With a somber expression, our boy laments not remembering the exact details of all the cursed rooms in L.A.G. However, he's more than familiar with the first few. It's probably where he got his cheeks clapped the most. We learn that in the case of B1, Room 1, the room is bright, and only 1 or 2 zombies appear, unlike the cursed Room 2, where you have to fight in total darkness. However, there's a price for this reduced difficulty. The reward is minimal. Room 2 is obviously more difficult, but as a reward, you get the special key to access B2, Room 1. With a resolute expression, our boy bravely enters B2, Room 1, ready for whatever shitshow he'll face. As he makes his way down another seemingly endless flight of stairs, he reflects on why he chose the key as a reward rather than a piece of equipment. He's confident he can succeed in the mission for B2, Room 1. Another juicy incentive is that the reward is pretty good. Turning the knob for the room in question, our boy is met with another system notification. Player Lee Jeong Hyeok, the Chad has entered Room 1. The public mission for the room is to kill the bug behind the wall. The goal is to kill monsters from B2, Room 1, Space 1. As for the rewards, the first reward is speed boots, and the second is a random level up of one of his skills. Gazing at the loathsome notification, our boy laments the absurd difficulty. It's just 1 floor down, yet the challenge is already ridiculous, and they didn't even specify which monster he's to catch. As a point of reference, we get a better understanding of the structure of L.A.G. In this case, B2 means the second basement floor. The one in the middle refers to the exact room on that floor. And finally, the one at the end specifies which space in that room. For my fellow Chads, this basically means that inside a basement floor, there's 1 or more rooms. And inside those rooms, there are 1 or more spaces. Our boy reflects that so far, things are pretty good. Not to mention he already knows everything about the first few rooms. What bothers him, however, is the scene playing out before him. A man sits against the wall, seemingly asleep. This new addition to the party is player Kim Tae-min. His public attribute is breathing underwater, and his highest skill level is 2. Gazing at the sleeping dude, our boy can't help but wonder what the fuck is up with him. Even in such a situation, the dude is sleeping? Is he teasing death or something? As if sensing his gaze, Tae-min startles awake. Upon noticing the strange man staring at him, he almost shits his pants in fright. We also get an interesting new detail about the system of L.A.G. Everyone in the cursed game has access to certain information about the other participants. They can freely view the name, public attributes, and highest skill level of other players. For our boy, it shows his name, his public attribute. He can only have up to 2 active skills, and his highest skill level, which is currently 1. As expected, Tae-min is a bit taken aback. It's mostly due to the sudden arrival of the MC, but I'd like to believe it's because our boy has that alpha dog in him, rendering Tae-min speechless. All in all, there's a tense silence in the room as the two analyze each other. Our boy notices the hammer Tae-min is holding. From his memories, he identifies it as an item that boosts strength. The hammer is now covered in blood, hinting that it has been used recently. Finally breaking the ice, our boy questions Tae-min, asking him what the hell he's doing. The man, a fumbling mess, barely manages a reply through his constant stammering. Fed up with the nonsense, our boy tells Tae-min to speak properly. Tae-min finally pulls himself together and explains that he fell asleep while waiting for someone to arrive. Taking a moment to analyze the strange fellow, our boy notes it's unlikely that Tae-min passed B1, room 1, since he'd need the special key from room 2 to access this room. His scrawny appearance also doesn't suggest he defeated zombies in room 2. However, if that's the case, he shouldn't be here since he wouldn't have a key. All in all, the dude is hella suspicious. Our boy wonders if there was a third party who went into room 1, space 1 first, or maybe came down from B1, room 2. Drawing our boy from his thoughts, Tae-min replies that he was waiting for him. Jeong Hyeok, a bit puzzled, asks what he means. Tae-min explains that he had been partnered with someone upstairs. They had managed to survive the mission, but ultimately, the zombies got his partner. He tried to help, but he was helpless in the situation. Our boy, already piecing things together, replies that Tae-min must have survived somehow, and here he is. Tae-min confirms this, saying he came down in a hurry. I'm calling it now. This dude is hella suspicious. Just look at that teabag-like face. Tae-min goes on to explain that upon his arrival on B2, he didn't have the guts to go in alone, so he's been waiting for someone to venture in together. The MC, having picked up on something, replies simply, I see. Without wasting more time, he immediately heads toward the next room, casually reminding Tae-min to do whatever he wants. He can wait for someone else, or follow him inside. Flustered, Tae-min shouts at him to hold on. However, when he notices Jeong Hyeok has no intention of waiting, he decides to follow him into the room. To hell with caution. It's time to make moves. The system notification soon sounds, stating that players Jeong Hyeok and Tae-min have both entered B2, room 1, space 1. Having entered the new room, the boys are taken aback. Rather, Tae-min is taken aback. Our boy remains as nonchalant as ever. Having lived through multiple regressions, there are few things that surprise him. However, he understands how seeing such a sight for the first time could leave someone flustered. And true to his thoughts, the sight is indeed surprising. There's a forest inside the room. As for the sky above, it's hard to determine whether it's real or fake, but all he knows is that there's no ceiling. Grass grows on the floor and trees rise. No matter how you look at it, it's literally a forest. Though mesmerizing, our boy doesn't plan to stand around and ogle like a fool. Moves have to be made. He immediately starts walking toward the forest, an action that greatly shocks Tae-min. Flustered, Tae-min calls out, urging him to hold up. Does he not find the situation suspicious? They had been trapped inside a building, and now they're inside a forest. The whole thing doesn't seem right at all. After listening to his rant, our boy casually replies, Sure, it's suspicious, but what does he expect him to do about it? Even if he asked, he doesn't know where they are or why they're here. The situation is already happening, and it's a waste of time to sit around with useless questions. The only move left is to forge ahead and hopefully secure the best chance of survival. Tae-min, unsatisfied with the MC's reaction, urges him to talk more about the situation. Our boy, however, shuts him down. Sitting around talking won't yield answers. life isn't that easy. The goal is clear. They must reach the lowest basement floor, the only thing they need to focus on to maybe get out of this hell. With that, he forges forward. If Taemin needs someone to sympathize with, he can look elsewhere. But Jeong Hyeok isn't that person. Besides, he never asked Taemin to follow him. Taken aback, Taemin watches somberly as the MC puts distance between them. From the look on his face, it's clear this teabag-looking motherfucker is up to no good. Snapping out of his suspicious thoughts, Taemin catches up to the MC and apologizes, admitting he was thinking of useless things during their dire predicament. Jeong Hyeok waves off his apology, telling him that if he has time to talk, he should also pay attention to the forest ahead. They don't know when or where the monster will appear. We cut to the boys making their way through the gloomy, foggy forest. Though massive, it's eerily empty and quiet, adding an extra layer of dread to the already dodgy situation. After what seems like an eternity of treading in silence, Jeong Hyeok finally stops, his gaze fixed on an obscured entity in a nearby tree. Taemin, picking up on his strange behavior, asks what's wrong. Our boy, however, doesn't answer, his focus on the creature only he sees. He wondered how many of the vermin were secretly hidden in the forest. Not getting the answer he expected, Taemin traced Jeong Hyeok's line of sight, trying to figure out what had the Chad all hot and bothered. The answer, however, wasn't one he wanted to know about. Camouflaged on the tree was a monstrous wooden spider, its characteristic being that its whole body was as hard as wood, and currently, its highest skill level was 1. As expected, Taemin freaked out, scared shitless by the strange abomination. Our Chad, however, was as cool as ever, telling him to be quiet. The monster, noticing the two new prey, immediately sprang into action. Without any wasted movements, it lunged at the boys, its massive body casting an eerie shadow on the terrified faces of the duo. With a mighty thud, it landed before the boys, the force of the collision kicking up a dust storm. The boys had no choice but to clumsily leap backward, barely dodging the attack. After all the dust settled, we finally got a clear view of the monstrous spider, and it was a nightmare. With a body as huge as a truck and an almost impenetrable carapace, the fiend was anyone's worst nightmare come true. Damn, I'm developing arachnophobia just looking at it. Our boy, however, was built differently. Despite the monstrosity before him, his attention was drawn to Taemin instead. He noted that Taemin's movements were better than he expected. Even if someone awakens an ability, it varies widely, depending on the person who uses it. As such, the strange fellow was a real enigma. He was scrawny, yet appeared capable. Something just didn't add up about him. The spider, however, wasn't going to sit around and wait for him to figure out his suspicions. Identifying him as its target, it immediately charged at our boy. Jeong Hyeok thought back to some of his earlier regressions when he had unfortunately gone up against the spider and, unsurprisingly, lost pathetically. When caught in the spider's leg, the human body easily breaks in two. However, no matter how powerful the attack was, it only mattered if he got hit by it. As such, our boy bravely faced the spider, unfazed by its menacing charge. Crunched into his fighting stance, he waited for the behemoth to make its move. Although it was indeed fast, it wasn't something he couldn't avoid. Besides, he wasn't a normal human anymore. He was awakened, a being that far surpassed the regular limits of mundane humans. The MC demonstrates this by easily weaving and dodging the spider monster's sharp legs. No matter how much it tried, it just couldn't reach the elusive MC. Although the exact nature of the awakening is unknown, it is clear that it is a change meant to make the participants more suitable for survival in the treacherous game. L.A.G. Their physical abilities improve, and most importantly, they gain the ability to use skills. The MC shows off the full extent of his awakening by easily dodging the spider's claw attack. With nimble movements, he runs up a tree before doing a backflip, swiftly lunging at the spider for his counterattack. Taemin, like a wolf waiting to pounce, watches all of his moves with a somber expression. This shady bastard is definitely up to something. The MC, completely oblivious to the ominous developments, continues his fight against the spider. From his aerial position, he jumps onto the spider, delivering a deadly attack on its leg. Reeling from the impact, the spider shrieks in pain, throwing the MC off its body. Jeong Hyeok, skidding to a stop, gazed sternly at the spider. As expected, its carapace is ridiculously hard. the fight won't end so quickly. Unbeknownst to him, the treacherous Tae-min was secretly lunging at him, poised to deliver a sneak attack. I knew it. This teabag-looking motherfucker was definitely up to no good. I definitely called it. With his eyes screaming murder, the treacherous Tae-min charges forward, his hammer raised, poised to attack. Our boy, finally picking up on the silent ambush, turns wearily to face Tae-min. However, to my shock, the bastard actually directs his attack at the spider, not our boy. Activating his active skill, explosive attack, the suspicious Tae-min delivers a devastating blow to the spider's legs, blowing them to smithereens. Jeong Hyeok, just as puzzled as I am about Tae-min's interference, thinks to himself that it was unexpected. He'd thought the sassy bastard would just be an observer in the fight. Nevertheless, now wasn't the time to mull over such things. Capitalizing on the opening created by Tae-min, our boy charges in again, craving some spider cheeks to clap. He performs a leap attack, landing a solid hit on the monster's leg, followed by a backward dodge, barely avoiding the spider's counterattack. Skidding to a stop, Jeong Hyeok faces the spider head-on, no fear visible in his Chad face. Analyzing his foe, he notices a crack in its almost indestructible carapace. Finally, a chance for a lethal attack has opened up. Wasting no time, Jeong Hyeok stealthily creeps up on the spider and, in a single swift strike, obliterates its leg. The bastard Tae-min also joins the fray, delivering numerous explosive attacks on the beast. The monster, left reeling from the attacks, shrieks pathetically, its once majestic carapace now reduced to a mangled burning mess. Taking advantage of the beast's immobility, the MC charges back in, planning to finally put an end to the vermin. Leaping onto the spider's carapace, our boy charges up a devastating attack, his muscles tensed in preparation for the ensuing carnage. And he doesn't disappoint. He unleashes a barrage of attacks on the spider, his movements so swift and agile that afterimages are left in his wake. The endless blows continue. The once devastated battlefield is now reduced to a symphony of thrashing and shrieking sounds. Finally, the beast succumbs to the MC's relentless attacks, collapsing loudly and breathing its last. With his enemy felled, the MC calmly rises, his trusty pickaxe squarely tucked away. The bastard Tae-min also survived the battle, although barely, judging by his labored breath. Jeong Hyeok analyzes the strange fellow, noting his lack of passive skills that offer physical reinforcements. However, he seems to be capable of continuously using his active skills, even if it's detrimental to his stamina. In addition, the sassy bastard absolutely sucks at combat. But he does make up for it with a high-level skill, probably even higher in level than Jeong Hyeok's. All in all, the bastard is one to be wary of, especially since the previous naive and timid face he portrayed strangely disappeared when he was fighting, and his real nature was revealed. The fact that the bastard can use that much power on the second floor means he'll probably be strong in the future. The MC is determined to secure his help, even if he has to be a bit forceful about it. But all that aside, the real reason he's keeping the sus bastard around, despite knowing how dangerous he could be, is because he's confident in his ability to kill him anytime he wants, should he deem it necessary. We cut to the boys walking in the forest, and as expected, Tae-min is yapping non-stop. He questions the MC about their destination, but our boy just ignores him. Not getting a reply, he calls out to Jeong Hyeok again. The MC, frustrated by his constant yapping, asks him what he expects them to do. Should they stay there? He lets him know that the battle caused quite a commotion. Other predators must have heard it, and are currently heading in that direction. If he still wishes to stay, he's welcome to try. Tae-min expresses his understanding, but he still wants to know their intended destination. Our boy, finally fed up with his constant questions and yapping, tells him to be quiet if he wishes to follow him. Tae-min quickly agrees, his meek demeanor returning. This sudden change doesn't go unnoticed by the MC. He's seen through the mask Tae-min is wearing. In L.A.G, everyone acts to deceive each other. It's a constant game of deception. Jeong Hyeok's thoughts are interrupted by a sudden ruckus from behind him. Gazing at the new guests, he laments that it's too late to make a safe getaway. The worst possible scenario has indeed happened. They've been flocked by a clutter of spiders. If you thought the lone beast was dreadful, try imagining a whole group of them, all thirsty for your blood. Tae-min, scared shitless, asks what they should do. Our boy responds to the idiotic question, they should run like hell. And true to his words, the boys haul some cheeks, with a clutter of spiders hot on their trail. The pursuit continues through the middle of the woods, then the path to the left, followed by the path to the right. The spiders just weren't letting up, and the boys had no option but to run like their lives depended on it, because they did. Finally, our boy notices that things can't continue like that. They will soon be swarmed, and he needs to do something before that happens. With a plan in mind, he immediately makes his way to a clearing beyond the forest. Tae-min, the noisy bastard, is quick to complain, shouting that the MC has led them to a dead end. Shouldn't they be looking for a door to the next floor, or maybe another way to get to the third basement floor? Jeong Hyeok, enraged, grabs the motherfucker by the face. With a chilling look, he tells him to shut his stinking mouth. Tae-min, dreading his doom, immediately apologizes. With a gentler tone, he voices his argument, noting that the spiders will soon catch up and they're trapped in a dead end. The MC ignores him. He's busy trying to calm his fury. He had almost killed the bastard out of anger. Looks like keeping the treacherous jerk alive will be harder than our boy thought. We cut to some general info about room B211. Although it seems like a vast forest, it's actually not infinite. Our boy intends to use that feature, along with the fact that the spiders will come hunting for them, to launch his counterattack. Activating his flame skill, he sets fire to a tree. He also instructs Tae-min to do the same using his explosive attack. The goal is to set fire to the whole forest. Obviously, the noisy bastard complains, but the MC tells him to shut up and do as he's told. Tae-min, still scared of our boy, decides to keep his head down and follow orders. With his trusty hammer, he strikes the trees, setting them ablaze. The embers from his attack spread wide, setting the nearby trees on fire. In just a couple of minutes, the fire blooms into a huge inferno, unstoppable in its spread. Tae-min asks why they did that. If the fire spreads, they'll be in danger too. Jeong Hyeok doesn't answer, seemingly waiting for him to figure things out on his own. Any further attempts by Tae-min to get clarification from him are met with a quick jab to the face, serves him right. Soon, however, the plan becomes obvious. The monstrous spiders, hidden and lurking in the forest, are set ablaze as well. Their dying shrieks echo in the forest as they fall. Under the somber gaze of our boy and the shocked expression on Tae Bastard's face, the spiders die, helpless as they burn alive. A system notification soon sounds. The mission is complete. The goal of killing the wooden spider is achieved, and the rewards will be given to player Lee Jeong Hyeok. He contributed 94%, while Tae Bastard contributed 6%. As such, Jeong Hyeok will be rewarded with speed boots as his first reward, and a random skill level up as his second reward. The MC explains that each mission has a minimum condition for receiving compensation. Even if you contribute toward the mission, if it's too low, you won't be rewarded. He reflects that the mission was only easy because of the nature of the room and spiders. They have a habit of tracking their prey down, so it wasn't difficult to lure them into a trap. Plus, their bodies are made of wood, so they burn pretty easily. We switch to our boy getting his rewards, the speed boots, which increase his speed by 5%, as well as a level up of his bare-handed fighting skill to level 2. He comments that everything seems to be going great. The boots are fantastic, and the skill level up is great too. The only problem he can point out is his horrible crime against fashion. Turning his attention to the stalking Tae-min, he asks him why he's staring so much. The latter asks if everything is over now. Jeong Hyeok calmly replies that if the system notification indicates it's over, then it's over. He has to quickly adapt if he wants to survive. Walking away from the bastard, he dives into his future plans. There are certain things he needs to acquire before moving forward. We don't know exactly what they are, but he's a regressor, so I'm sure he has something cooking. Behind him, the suspicious Tae-min is giving him the treacherous look again. I might have been wrong the last time, but my gut is telling me this bastard is up to something. Guess we'll just have to wait and see.